Okay, this is the second part of Chapter 24 for STEM Biology on viruses. First thing we're going to talk about is vectors. Vectors are the name of the host of viral diseases. Vectors can be humans, animals, and insects. What vectors do is they transfer a pathogen or a parasite or a virus to another organism. These are human viral diseases that you need to be familiar with. These are viruses that cause many human diseases, including the common cold, flu, hepatitis, rabies, chickenpox, and certain types of cancer, and AIDS. They can affect various human organs, such as the brain, liver, heart, lungs, and skin. First one we're going to do is chickenpox and shingles. Chickenpox and shingles are caused by the same virus. It's called varicella zoster herpes virus. It multiplies in the lungs, and then it will travel to the blood vessels and in the skin. Symptoms are a fever, and you get the skin rash that everyone knows about for chickenpox. It is spread through direct contact with the skin rash and through the air. After having it, people usually won't get it again, but it can stay in the nerve cells as a provirus. Then, if it gets activated, it is called shingles, and that is a lot worse than having just the chickenpox. There are now vaccines that you get when you were little, so like my kids will never have chickenpox. There's an example of chickenpox there with all the different bumps, and they're itchy, that rash, and then shingles is worse as it's pus filled. Alright, next one is viral hepatitis. Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver, and that can be caused by at least 5 different viruses. Hepatitis A and hepatitis E can be spread by fecal, contaminated food, and water. Hepatitis B, C, and D are spread by sexual contact, by contact with infected blood and serum, and by the use of contaminated needles. Symptoms for viral hepatitis are fever, nauseated, jaundice, which is the yellowing of the skin, and the failure of your liver to work. That is jaundice. You get yellow skin and yellow eyes. That's a symptom. Next one is acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or AIDS. The human immunodeficiency virus, which is HIV, is an RNA virus, which is spread by sexual contact, by contact with infected body fluids, and from mother to fetus. HIV targets macrophages, which are the cells in your immune system, and thus damages your immune system, so you can get sick easily and won't be able to fight it off. This disease, called acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS, will then result. For HIV, the virus attaches to specific receptors on the cells of the immune system. Those receptors have a name. They're called CD4 and CCR5. And so the binding must occur in order for the virus to attack. The viral envelope will fuse with the membrane of the cell and release the capsid into the host cell. Viral RNA and reverse transcriptase, which is that special enzyme, are released and used to make a template to make DNA version of the viral genome. The HIV DNA enters the cell's nucleus and integrates into the cell's DNA, thus making a provirus. Transcription and translation occurs, and basically what that means, we're making a protein, and viral proteins then are made. The HIV then assembles and a new envelope forms around it, and then it eventually is released from the cell. So here is a picture, and you'll get this diagram in class of the virus that causes AIDS, HIV. These are the receptors on the membrane. That is called the glycoprotein. It's a mixture of a carbohydrate and a protein together on the membrane. This here is the lipid bilayer, or the cell membrane. You got polar heads, nonpolar tails, just the cell membrane. Okay. Matrix protein, those are proteins on the inside. The capsid of the virus is right there. Okay, capsid for the virus. Then you have, this is your RNA right here. Okay. And your enzyme is right there, reverse transcriptase. That enzyme is responsible for taking the RNA and turning it into DNA. All right, so you'll get that diagram in class. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is how viruses and cancer are related. Some viruses contain genes, and these genes are called oncogenes, and these are the genes that cause cancer. Other viruses convert pronto-oncogenes, which usually control cell growth, to oncogenes. HPV, which is human papillomavirus, causes cervical cancer, and you can get a vaccine for that now. And hepatitis B virus can also cause liver cancer. Emerging viruses usually infect animals isolated in nature, but can jump to humans when contact occurs in the environment. For example, these are emerging viral diseases. Ebola virus. This is caused by animals in tropical forests of Central America, or Central Africa. SARS, you might have heard of. This is caused by civet cats. Vaccines for these type of diseases are too expensive to develop. Prevention and treatment of viral diseases, you would get vaccines. A vaccine contains a harmless version of the virus or the bacteria or the toxin that causes an immune response when introduced to the body. It makes the antibodies for it. Vaccines have helped greatly to reduce a certain viral disease. Viral vaccines are made from inactivated viruses, which are viruses that are unable to replicate in the host cell. But we are able to make the antibodies for it. Attenuated viruses. These are weakened form of the virus that cannot cause the disease. When these viruses then are made into the vaccine, they provide greater protection from the disease. For example, these are the attenuated viruses, are the viruses that we won't get anymore because the vaccine is very strong. For example, measles, mumps, rubella, polio, hepatitis A and B, and chickenpox are all things that you would get vaccines when you were younger. All right, viroids, that's a typo there. Viroids should be O-I-D-S, and prions. Viroids are short, circular, single strands of RNA that do not have a capsid, and viroids affect plant cells. Prions are infectious particles containing protein, but they also do not have nucleic acids. They don't have nucleic acids. Prions cause mad cow disease and similar brain degenerative diseases. Okay, so other important viral diseases is the chart in your book for chapter 24. So the ones, it's describing it therefore, and it's also telling you how it's transmitted. So when the immune system fails, that is called AIDS. That's transmitted by sexual contact, contaminated blood, or contaminated needles. The next one, sinus congestion, muscle aches, cough, fever. You get it by inhalation and direct contact. That is the common cold. Next one, high fever, uncontrollable bleeding. It's caused by or transmitted by bodily fluids. That is Ebola. Flu-like symptoms, swollen liver, yellow skin, painful joints, transmitted by contaminated blood, food, or water. That is hepatitis A. Flu-like symptoms, swollen liver, yellow skin, painful joints can cause liver cancer, and this one is sexual contact, contaminated blood, or contaminated needles is hepatitis B. All right, fevers, chills, fatigue, which is being tired, cough, sore throat, muscle aches, weakness, headache caused by inhalation, that is the flu. Painful swelling in your salivary glands, that is the mumps. When you get a fever, headache, stiff neck, possible paralysis, that is polio. That's a vaccine now for both of those last two. Mental depression, fever, restlessness, difficulty swallowing, paralysis, convulsions, and it's often fatal. It's caused by the bite of an infected animal. That is rabies. High fever, headache, dry cough can also be fatal, is SARS. Blisters, lesions, fever, malaise, blindness, disfiguring scars, and often fatal is smallpox. And then the last one there, fever, weakness, yellow skin, often fatal. The bite of an infected mosquito is yellow fever. And that ends our podcast for chapter 24.